Morning, everybody. Coffee's hot. Caspian's judging me already, and I got a story for you. A bass player I used to play with. Good guy, good ear, terrible taste in amps. He found out I was in the program, and he looks at me dead serious and goes, I sure hope you don't become one of them there religious fanatics. And I laughed because I get it. I know what that looks like from the outside. I got a guy out here in Peanut Park that likes to scream all day about Jesus when I'm trying to sleep. If I start doing that, please reel me in. I'm not a fanatic. I just have to grow spiritually or die. That's it. That's the whole idea, folks. That's our solution. Go away, Siri. Go away, Siri. Killing me, Smalls. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but the spiritual backbone of our program didn't come out of nowhere. Back in the early days, the co founders leaned hard on a book called The Varieties of Religious Experience by William James. He was a Harvard psychologist, not a preacher, not a mystic, a scientist. And after he finished his big work on psychology, he turned his attention to something harder to pin down: religious and spiritual experience itself, not any one religion, the experience of it, what it does to a person, how it changes them. He gave the Gifford lectures on natural religion at Edinburgh back in '01 and '02. That's 1901 and '02. And out of that came this book, a study of what he called the reality of the unseen, the divided self, and how that self gets put back together. Conversion, saintliness, mysticism, all of it treated like real, observable human phenomena. That's the tradition our literature is standing on, not fanaticism, observation. You following any of this? Yeah, me neither some mornings. Let's keep going. So here's a passage I keep coming back to. It's from our basic text, and it says, most of us think this awareness of a power greater than ourselves is the essence of spiritual experience. Some folks call it God consciousness. And then it says something like, and I think this gets missed a lot, any of us capable of honestly facing our problems in the light of this experience can recover, provided we don't close our mind to all spiritual concepts. Can you imagine somebody grown up in Catholicism hearing that? As long as we don't close our minds to all spiritual concepts. What a must. What a ride. Not provided we adopt any specific belief, not provided we join anything, just don't slam the door shut on the idea entirely. That's the only real requirement. And then it names the three things that actually matter: willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness, not devotion, not doctrine. Willingness, honesty, open-mindedness. Those are the essentials, folks. That's not fanaticism. That's the opposite of fanaticism. Fanaticism is a closed door. This is an open one. It's a broad highway, not a narrow path. Sometimes it feels like a narrow path because of how few of us actually walk it. And right below that, there's a quote often attributed to Herbert Spencer. But my old sponsor said Bill Wilson said it. What difference does it make? And I think this is one of the sharpest lines in the whole book. There is a principle which is a bar against all information, which is proof against all arguments, and which cannot fail to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. That principle is contempt prior to investigation. You ever try to feed a kid something that they've never eaten before? How do you know you don't like it? You never even tasted it. That's contempt prior to investigation. And honestly, I did the same thing for years about prayer, about meditation, about all of it. Decided it wasn't for me before I gave it an honest shot. So here's where I land. I'm not out here memorizing scripture or waving a banner, unless it's Game of Thrones, the North remembers. No, I lost my spot. I'm a guy who found out the hard way that if I stop growing spiritually, emotionally, whatever word you want to use, I don't just stall out, I go backwards. I backslide. Backslider. Oh, there's our song today. And backwards for me, people like me, doesn't stay gentle for long. So yeah, I read James. I read the big book. I read Emmett Fox. I sit with it in the morning with this cat giving me the same look he's giving me right now. And none of that makes me a fanatic. It makes me someone who's still here. It sure beats the alternative. Grow or die. That's not a slogan for me. That's just what's true. So just for today, I'm going to stay open minded, even when the stuff that makes me uncomfortable. Just for today, I'm not going to let contempt stand in for investigation. And just for today, growth beats comfort. Same time tomorrow? Yeah. Love you too, buddy. He's under the bed. Take care of yourselves out there. See you tomorrow morning.